tried to hide it so you wouldn't get mad at me. Sasha looked at Leo. Leo looked at the floor. I'm sorry, Leo, Sasha whispered. I went full storm on you. It's okay, Mom, Leo said, a small smirk returning. But does this mean I can get those new sneakers now? You know, as a sorry I called you a toothless crackhead named Peach's gift. Don't push it, Sasha and Dante said in unison. Chapter 5. The paternity swab. The peace in the household was short-lived. Sasha couldn't get the image of Malik the Hammer Steel out of her head. Every time she saw him at the salon, her mind did a frantic calculation of dates, times, and biological probabilities. She called Gigi into the back room of the salon. I need a DNA test, Gigi, but I can't ask Dante. He'd think I'm cheating now. And I can't ask Malik. He'd think he's the father. Gigi pulled a small plastic bag from her purse. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. Swabs, medical grade. I got them from my cousin, who works at the lab. Or the zoo. One of the two. Why do you have these in your purse? Sasha hissed. Always be prepared, honey. You never know when you need to know who the daddy is. It's a survival skill in Neo Atlanta. Sasha took the swabs. Her mission was clear. Get a sample from Malik and a sample from Dante, without either of them realizing they were being biologically audited. The opportunity came sooner than expected. Malik was working on a support column near the break room. He was sweating, his shirt clinging to his chest. Sasha walked up to him, holding a glass of water. You look thirsty, Malik, she said, her voice uncharacteristically sweet. I'm parched, Sasha, he said, taking the glass. You finally deciding to be nice to the help? Just being a good boss, she said. As he drank, she noticed a stray piece of cedar wood stuck to his lip. With the precision of a ninja, she swiped the swab across the inside of his cheek, while cleaning the debris. Ow, watch the hardware, lady, Malik said, rubbing his jaw. You trying to perform dental surgery? Just hygiene, Sasha said, tucking the swab into her bra and scurrying away. That night, she waited for Dante to fall asleep. He was snoring, a rhythmic, deep bass sound that usually drove her crazy. But tonight, it was her signal. She crept toward him. Swab in hand, just one quick swipe, she thought. Just a little bit of Dante DNA. She reached out, but just as the swab touched his lip, Dante's eyes snapped open. Sasha, what are you doing? Are you trying to give me mouth to mouth? I'm breathing fine. I thought I saw a spider, Sasha yelled, leaping back. A giant, radioactive spider on your face. A spider. Dante sat up, rubbing his eyes. In the middle of the night? With a Q-tip? It was a very small, very fast spider, Sasha said, fleeing to the bathroom. The next morning, Sasha gave the swabs to Gigi. Get these to the lab, now. I need to know. 2 days later, the results came back. Sasha sat in the salon, her hands shaking as she opened the envelope. Gigi and Jasmine hovered over her. And? Gigi prompted. Is he a Montgomery or a Steele? Sasha read the paper. Then she read it again. Then she started to laugh. A wild, hysterical laugh that echoed off the salon mirrors. What? What is it? Jasmine asked. Malik Steele, Sasha gasped, wiping tears of laughter from her eyes. Malik Steele is sterile. What? He had an accident in preschool. Sasha laughed. A pencil in his pocket. He can't even have kids. He told me today, when I tried to interrogate him about his family history. So, Leo is 100% Dante's. Sasha sighed, leaning back in her chair. The ego, the mouth, and the DNA. He's all Montgomery. Chapter 6. The proposal fiasco. The week culminated in a grand dinner party at the Sterling Montgomery mansion. Sasha wanted to celebrate the end of the Rossi scandal and the survival of the Peaches incident. She invited everyone, Reginald, Kiki, Julian, Jasmine, and even a few single friends to fix up Gigi. Julian, the intellectual of the group, arrived looking like he'd just swallowed a dictionary. He had a small velvet box in his pocket and a look of impending doom on his face. I'm going to do it, Dante. Julian whispered in the kitchen. I'm going to ask Jasmine to marry me. Tonight. In front of the appetizers. Don't do it, man, Dante warned. Jasmine likes her freedom. She's like a wild bird. If you try to put her in a cage, she'll peck your eyes out. Nonsense, Julian said. We have synergy. We have intellectual compatibility. Across the room, Reginald was being hand-fed grapes by Kiki. Is he okay? Sasha whispered to Dante. He looks like he's in a hostage situation. He is, Dante replied. The ransom is his soul. As dinner was served, Julian stood up, tapping his glass with a spoon. The room went quiet. He dropped to one knee, looking up at Jasmine with puppy dog eyes. Jasmine, he began, his voice trembling, we have navigated the complexities of the human experience together. Will you join me in a legally binding, socially recognized union of souls? Will you marry me? Ah. Jasmine froze. She looked at the ring. She looked at the guests. Then she looked at the door. Julian, she said slowly, are you kidding me right now? Is this a prank? Is there a camera hidden in the breadsticks? No, Julian said, his face falling. It's a proposal. Oh, hell no, Jasmine said, standing up. We talked about this. What we have works. Why would you want to ruin it with papers and lawyers and mother-in-laws? I'm too young to be an old ball and chain. You're 42, Jasmine, Julian yelled, standing up. And I look 30. Stay in your lane, Julian. Jasmine turned to Sasha. I'm going home. This dinner is too heavy, and Julian is being too husbandy. As Jasmine stormed out, Kiki stood up. I'll marry him. If Reginald doesn't upgrade my ring by Tuesday, I'm available. Sit down, Kiki, Reginald snapped. Dante looked at Sasha. Sasha looked at Dante. In the midst of the chaos, the screaming, the crying, and the tiny poodle trying to eat a piece of falling ham, they found each other's eyes. You know, Dante said, leaning in close. Our marriage might be a circus, but at least we're in the same tent. Sasha smiled, a genuine, warm smile. I love you too, Sasha, even when you think our son is a crackhead named Peaches. They kissed, oblivious to the fact that Leo was currently in the hallway, recording the whole thing for his family drama vlog. And that, followers, Leo whispered into his phone, is how the Sterlings do dinner. Tune in next week when Mom finds out Dad accidentally spent the mortgage money on a vintage jet ski. It's gonna be a Category 5 for sure. The walls were thin, the secrets were thick, but in the heart of Neo-Atlanta, the Sterling Montgomery family was exactly where they were meant to be. Right on the edge of a hilarious disaster. Epilogue, the Larry White Encore. Late that night, after the guests had fled and the house was finally quiet, a low, rumbling bass began to vibrate through the floorboards of the second story. Down in the kitchen, Big Mama Mabel sat at the table, enjoying a late-night snack. She looked up at the ceiling, hearing the smooth, soulful voice of Barry White drifting through the vents. The first, the last, my everything. Mabel shook her head and took a bite of her biscuit. Them walls sure are thin, she muttered, but at least they're singing, God bless the Sterlings. And upstairs, in the master bedroom, the storm had finally passed, leaving nothing but the clear, blue sky of a make-up night. The Heights. High Stakes and Hair Extensions. Chapter 1. The Barry White Dilemma. The walls in the Vance household were not merely structures of wood and drywall, they were acoustic filters that failed miserably at their job. 14-year-old Leo Vance sat at the kitchen island, methodically drowning his cereal in 2% milk, while the ceiling above him groaned with the rhythmic thuds of a domestic reconciliation. I didn't want to hear it, Leo muttered to the empty kitchen. But at the same time, the biological curiosity is real. Suddenly, the stairs creaked. His father, Dominic Dom Vance, a man whose voice was usually reserved for shouting about point spreads on Chicago sports, now descended with a grin that could only be described as terrifyingly satisfied. He was humming a low, bass-heavy tune. Who is Larry White? Leo asked, not looking up from his Fruit Loops. Dom paused, his hand on the banister. Larry White? Son, it's Barry White. The maestro